All right, well, I guess I'll go ahead and get started. Thank you everybody for showing up to the half hour after typical times community dev call for Regen Network. Gregory is out of town or out of office this week, so he wanted me to go ahead and take care of this call for us. There aren't too many new updates. So for those who've already seen last times, which was like 2 weeks ago, if you've already seen that one, then there probably is not going to be too much more information, and this presentation is probably going to look very similar. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. So yeah, so I guess I can just give you a quick introduction of myself. Many of you have probably already spoken to me in the Discord, but I am Dan Pittman. I am the community dev for or community manager for R&D Inc. And you can usually see me floating around in Discord or on the Telegram. We're starting to do stuff with Hilo, so you're gonna see me over there. And yeah, I'm just kind of all over the place. So if there's anything that you guys ever need, community-wise, channels, on Discord, anything like that, I am like the go-to guy for that. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. This is the community update for June 9th, 2021. Yeah, so again, most of the stuff was already talked about last week, but we currently have two proposals which are now live on chain, and have been going for just about a week. So we're trying to enable transfers. So the community members have been kind enough to submit proposals for enabling transfers, which is kind of the next logical step after mainnet launch. As most of you know, we launched the chain successfully, but we didn't actually include any transfers or IBC or anything like that. We launched with staking only. So this next step, hopefully if it passes, which it seems like it's going to be, we'll be enabling transfers. We'll also be enabling IBC. So the transfers will allow on-chain transfers of the Regen token itself. You can actually go to the forum at that link that I posted there inside of the slide and read up on the details and everything. You can also go to, there's a link at the bottom of this slide. You can go to Kepler itself where you do the voting, and you can actually see some smaller details, on each one of them. So I was looking this morning, and it's looking like a lot of people are actually showing up. We've got just under a week of voting left, and we've got about 61.78% voter turnout, which is great. The token holders are taking responsibility and coming in, doing their part, voting on their chain, on their. So I'm hoping to get a little bit more out of that, in the next week. So if you have not yet voted, please go ahead and do so. The transfers along with IBC, as you can see, looks like it's passing so far with flying colors. So if you have anything that, if you don't like it, or there's something that you don't want it to happen, or whatever it may be, this is your chance to go and vote no, abstain, or no with veto, however you do that. The enabling IBC, the interblockchain communication, is going to allow Regen token to actually be used as a trading pair on DEX, so the decentralized exchange such as Osmosis. So same thing for this. You can go to the forum with that link there, and you can read up on the details of the proposal itself. I know there was quite a bit of discussion on this one, so I recommend going and checking it out and seeing how the community was interacting. With that one, we've also reached quorum, so we've got 58.38% of tokens have voted. It came out just a few days after the transfers did, so I can expect that number to increase as well. And again, flying colors so far, yes votes almost 100%, and everybody seems to want this. I mean, just like the transfers, IBC on a Cosmos chain is just kind of the next logical step, in my opinion, to get, a functioning blockchain with, of course, transfers and talking in between, different chains. So go ahead and check out that link on the bottom, the wallet.kepler.app. Click on Regen and you should see the governance tab there, and you can go ahead and vote on those. So, of course, with IBC and transfers being enabled, we are going to try and do basically a public sale. We're going to do a liquidity bootstrapping. Excuse me, back here. Sorry about that. Let me go back a little bit here. Yeah, so with that, we're going to be doing a liquidity bootstrapping pool that's actually community run too. So R&D Inc. is not going to be supplying any tokens or anything like that. And as you can see, it's a transformative community-driven approach to liquidity and token distribution. So again, this is a public blockchain. This is all on the community. And of course, I'm biased as the community manager. I'm 100% all about community. So I really love seeing that R&D Inc. and the Regen Network has decided to go this route. We're intending to launch on the Osmosis DEX as the first liquidity bootstrapping pool. So there's going to be more details coming out for that, but that should be happening after IBC and transfers are enabled. No exact date on that quite yet. And of course, with the LBP, the liquidity bootstrapping pool, will be intending to work with community of token holders and that have unlocked tokens. So there was some of the community members that have been around for a long time actually have some unlocked tokens, and they're going to be providing liquidity for that. There's just like any other major project, as soon as you launch, there's copycats and people who are trying to, ride the coattails of success, and we are not immune to that. So if you are buying tokens, Regen tokens, you are more than likely being taken advantage of, because again, as you saw, there's no transfers. You cannot buy Regen tokens right now. So be really aware of any kind of quote unquote scams or anything that may be out there, and use the Regen Network website as the single source of truth. So if you don't see it come from R&D Inc. on the website itself, then it's not true. So just be very aware of that. It happens all the time. I just saw it even on Osmosis. I mean, it's a very common thing. So just do your due diligence on that, and just use us as your single source of truth. So we'll also be intending on listing on Gravity DEX in partnership with Tendermint, same kind of deal as Osmosis DEX. And again, R&D Inc. will not be doing any direct offering of these tokens. Provision for liquidity and coordinating, distilling information clarity around DEX listings. So again, we're the single source of truth, but we are not the single source of tokens. That's going to be a driven event. I've been working on a series of governance blogs, so I guess I could have put the first part out there, but you can go to our Medium and find it. That was a general overview of kind of the process as far as how the voting actually works. So I put a small tutorial for token holders to, step by step with pictures. You can see exactly where to click and what the important information is, the voting details, yes votes, no votes, all that kind of stuff. And I also put in kind of a general guide for proposers. So whether that's a validator or a community member or a group of community members want to get together and actually do a governance proposal, One of the biggest things, of course, with governance proposals themselves is, yeah, it's one thing to go ahead and submit it and it's live on chain, deposit has been paid, but of course, how are people going to see it? You know, is it something that was even worth paying the deposit for? So in that blog, and again, you can find that pretty easily on the Regen Network um, medium, but you'll see, you know, some steps as to how to kind of approach this. So, you know, go into the Discord, start a discussion there, maybe create a poll, use our forum to do a more detailed discussion and get some real feedback from the community itself. And that way you can gauge the effectiveness of your proposal. Because of course, like I mentioned, there's a deposit that's required. So you don't want to waste your region tokens on something that's not going to pass. So make sure that if you are proposing to just kind of follow those steps. Now with the governance guide part 2, I've gone into more detail on voting and the deposits itself, the voting periods as opposed to the deposit period, tallying votes, that kind of a thing. And it was mostly just a summary. If it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of a situation. We are, you know, Cosmos SDK, so we follow a lot of the same steps and procedures that Cosmos has in the past. So if you want, that can be viewed. So the Cosmos part of things can be viewed at this GitHub link here, and my blog will be posted. It's in review today and it should be posted by tomorrow. So you'll be able to see it. Yeah, if you want to learn about deposit period, a more in-depth look at what Quorum is, then that's going to be a great place for you to. The weekly office hours with Rev and Gregory about the Amazonian regeneration, which is a focus call. Actually, this week there was, and I should have changed the date on this. I'll change it after I give my talk here. But it happens every Tuesday at 2 p.m. UTC in our Discord. You can use that link right there to find the channel. It's a great place. It's really early in the morning for me. I think it's 6 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time for me. So I haven't really been able to get to those as much as I would like, but I know that some of our community members have been strongly involved with that. And of course, you know, it's Regen and we're trying to do amazing work. And of course the Amazon is, you know, just also a logical step in kind of this overall mission that we have. So yeah, go ahead and check that out if it's not too early or too late for you, every Tuesday in our Discord channel. The green NFT hackathon last week, so that nothing has really changed from this. These are still the winners. The only thing that I've added is the last time around I promised you a blog, so just a small write-up on the different, you know, projects that won, and of course there were no losers. Everybody got a little bit of the Regen token. So once transfers are enabled, all of the winners will be receiving tokens, where the Fungi Proof, Capico, Jennifer Trin, and I hope I'm not butchering everybody's name there, but yeah, go ahead and check those out. They were the top 3 winners with some really fantastic ideas and something that I really want to see move forward. So in the future, you'll be able to see that and catch up with those guys. Again, the medium.com link is posted right there. You can go ahead and do that. And, you know, I have to say it again, big congratulations to everybody. And thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to participate in this. And as the community guy, I love it when seeing community come together like this. So I really appreciate each and every one of you. So the community staking allocation delegation policy, so that's nothing new, but I just wanted to make sure that everybody got this. For the new people that didn't see the last presentation, you can go ahead and go to regen.foundation at that link there and see their delegation strategy. I know that they've worked really hard on this and there was a lot of discussion about it. So yeah, go ahead and check that out, please. And I think, yep, I think with that one, that's pretty much it. So again, looks like I got the date wrong on here, but yeah, so this call was June 9th. The next call will be again in 2 weeks. I want to mention that we started to do this in Discord. Discord offers a big variety of, tools and it's got the video conferencing kind of aspect to it, and the audio. It was a little bit more difficult for me to record, more so than I figured it was going to be. So I think for now, as we are here, we'll be just sticking with Zoom for now. It makes it a lot easier. Gregory's been using it for a long time. We're all used to it. So yeah, you can visit our link on the Google Calendar there and find out the times. Again, I want to apologize. These will always be at 1700 and 30 UTC, so 5:30 p.m. UTC, not 1800. There was, yeah, it is what it is, but we are here today at the 1800. Yeah, it happens every 2 weeks, and that's really it. Looks like in tradition, I was able to keep it at around 15 to 17 minutes of my discussion. Gregory typically opens it up for questions at this time, and I do want to do that as well. Hopefully I can answer those questions as good as Gregory does. He always does a fantastic job and always blows me away when he does it. I always feel like I don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so with that being said, if you'd like, you can use the chat. I'll stop sharing my screen here. You can use the chat just inside of Zoom here to ask a question, or you're more than welcome to unmute yourself and ask away. We've got about 10 more minutes, so yeah, please take this opportunity.
Hey Dan, sorry, can you just share for one quick sec those links on that last screen?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And we actually make these slideshows available to everybody. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and I'll just go back to them. Was that the Google Calendar link? Is that the one that you wanted, or was it the
screen you had? Web, Telegram, Discord, something else on there, their fourth link.
Oh, just the very last one here. Yeah. I'm just gonna go ahead. Is it okay if I put it in the chat for you?
Yeah, for sure. Well,
cool. Yeah, I just copied and pasted and I threw it in the chat there. Some of them didn't come up as proper links, but yeah, if you go ahead and copy and paste that, that should take you to all the proper spots. Yeah, thank you for pointing that out. And thank you for showing up. You'd mentioned this is your first time, right? So yeah, you got to see me in full action for my first time running one of these. So I really appreciate you showing up.
Perfect. Okay, got the chat.
Cool, great. Yeah, so any questions from anybody? I will do my best to answer them for you. I think you pronounce your name Ishmael. I know that you were actually, if I remember correctly, you're one of the green NFT winners. So maybe if you want to even give like a small overview. I know yours is, I'm pretty sure, I don't want to get this wrong, but I'm almost certain of it. If you want to give a small review, you don't have to. I wrote the blog, so hopefully that does justice as well too for you.
Hey Dan, hey everybody, can you hear me okay?
We can hear you great. Yeah, thank you.
Great. Yeah, thanks again. And I was actually just now looking at the other winners to see how our projects might relate to one another, to see if there is a possibility for collaboration to create something, greater with the synergistic effect of all of our efforts. And another thing that I wanted to talk about, and I saw that this was kind of touched on in the last meeting, just about the general support and the general direction for bringing these projects to fruition. Someone had mentioned that there may be further support, but also I know we spoke a little bit about having a meeting. I was messaging you in Discord, just about what the next steps would be. I I wanted to touch bases with you and Greg and see what expectations are and timelines and just try to get on the same
Absolutely.
page. Yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. Yeah, and just to touch on the first part that you're saying, yeah, that makes me really happy that you were looking at the other ones and seeing if there was kind of any sort of collaboration that was available possibly with the other winners. So that's cool. I highly encourage that to reach out to them. And yeah, you've reached out to me. So what I unfortunately Gregory's not here and he was the one kind of leading this hackathon, so I'm not really sure of his plans, but I do know that we're here to support you in any way that you need, as far as maybe even creating like a Discord channel where we can start talking in there. But what I will do is I will bring this up at our next community meeting, and kind of figure out the next steps for the winners and like yourself, and to see where we can get moving forward on this. I think everybody's mind currently has just been on the transfers and the enabling of IBC. So I apologize that I haven't gotten back to you sooner. But yeah, we will. I'll put this in my notes and I'll make sure to bring this up to the team and see where we can, what we can do to start moving this forward and getting this working and how we can support you. So yeah,
Great.
absolutely. Let's make that happen. And yeah, I'll, if you'd like, you can write me again. But let's see here. I'm gonna go ahead and pencil this in for Monday. We have a Monday call with the team, so I'll go ahead and pencil that in and make sure that we at least discuss that, and then I can come back to you with a better explanation.
Awesome. And also, just since we're here together now, if I could mention last week's Amazon meeting, I believe it was, let's see, who was that? TSI, Luke was on the call.
Okay. Okay.
And we were discussing uh, equal service credits and talking about different tools that we're going to be using to record impact activities and get those on to chain. And Gregory and I were kind of throwing around the idea of a proxy equal credit, something that would help to encourage people to report their regenerative activities, maybe in a manner that's very easy and maybe even spontaneously. Um, and the reason why we're thinking of proxy credit, because we wouldn't really be able to validate and authenticate these ecological activities. However, there may be a social incentive to be able to incentivize people to act more in regenerative ways. And so we're thinking about, what kind of system might we be able to create? And also I'm trying to get this kind of like in the roadmap as well, because as I develop in the green NFT, I want to also be thinking about, other types of systems that we may be formulating here in the future. So just wanted to get that out there as well.
Yeah, cool. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, sadly, I haven't really been able to go to those. I'll try to make it. I'm a bit of a night owl. Of course, our community is all over the world, so I typically will be up pretty late at night, but that sounds really cool. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, I just love, I mean, one of the biggest things about Regen, besides of course the overall mission, is just how much the community is really like the center point of Regen Network itself. It's and members like you and others, actually going above and beyond and really trying to utilize this public blockchain in all sorts of ways and coming up with creative solutions such as the one that you mentioned. I think that's really awesome, and I think that's cool, and thanks for bringing that up.
Great.
And we've got
Awesome.
about 3 more minutes. If yeah, you can go ahead. If you got something else, go ahead and go for it. We're all ears. Daniel, did you wanna talk about the major success of your proposals so far, and maybe Do you have any hopes or wishes that of what you'd like to see? Obviously, you want to see them pass, but you want to touch on the IBC or anything like that? No? Well, no big deal. Yeah. And Daniel, I want to thank you. So he was one of our proposers. I think, yeah, him and the Lowcom validator did both of them. So thank you so much for, launching or submitting the two very first proposals on the Regen Network. It's really cool to see, again, the community come together and working together. I'm still fairly new to Cosmos, so it was a learning experience for me as well, and we all got to kind of learn together. I know that Daniel and David from the Lowcom validator, kind of followed those steps that I'd laid out in the governance part 1 blog, where starting a small informal discussion in Discord and kind of gauging the community. Of course, transfers and IBC in my mind are the next logical step, and I didn't think there was going to be much of a discussion really needed, so I think there was very little input as far as the Discord was concerned. I think from what I've gathered, unless there's like a resistance to the proposal, you're not really going to get too much feedback. So thank you for still just chugging along and then using the forum to kind of lay it all out for us, and I really appreciate what you guys did. So yeah, so we're just hit the 11:30 mark Pacific Daylight Time. So unless there's any other questions, I don't want to make this go more than 30 minutes. So we'll go ahead and call it. I'll give you guys another 10 seconds. If you want to blurt something out there, I'm more than welcome. We're more than happy to welcome a discussion on that.
I guess, Dan, I'll throw out the question only because it's come to my table in the last 24 hours, but how does the Regen digital currency compare to, say, seeds? Are we interacting with them, or is it separate? Or
so I mean, I'm not too familiar with seeds. I've just heard about it. So unfortunately, I'm not even versed on the technology that they're using. Sadly, do you know if they're a Cosmos chain, or you don't?
I do not know. I'm like you. I'm
They're
pretty
not,
green
no.
on that.
They're
based on
not
Telos.
Cosmos.
Yeah.
Well, maybe Daniel,
They're Telos.
can you speak to this maybe?
Yeah, I didn't catch the whole question, but just what was the difference between Regen and seeds? Is that what the question was?
Basically,
yeah. Seeds is, well, I can't speak. I mean, I've done some projects with seeds, and I know the community pretty well. But yeah, seeds is more around like kind of, or at least right now, it's more around like community participation and less around the monitoring and verification that Regen Network kind of stands for, right? With that, like issuing carbon credits. Like, I don't think we'll ever see carbon credits being issued on seeds. However, I think it's really they're really complementary, because seeds is activating sort of the social layer of people who are doing sort of regenerative work in the world, and they have an ongoing. Their platform is such that they have a lot of grants, I believe, built into the foundations, where there's seeds have to be granted for regenerative projects. And so I could envision that, like, those in the seeds community may at some point be starting projects that may decide to list or issue credits on the Regen ledger in the future, when there's actual verification events happening, these types of things. So they're complementary in that regards.
Cool. Yeah, does that answer your question, Angie? Okay, cool. Yeah,
it does. And then there's the extra chat that they're using Ethereum networks, so that's cool.
Yeah, either EOS or Ethereum. So yeah, it's not Cosmos SDK. So I can't speak to that. It's a different technology altogether. Cosmos is what's called Tendermint. and EOS, I believe, is a graphene chain, and then of course Ethereum is its own thing. So if they aren't on Cosmos, which it sounds like they're not, then the technology is a little bit different. But just from what Daniel said, there does seem to be some alignment there. So, and especially since they're kind of community centric, I think I'll probably reach out to that community and see where we can align. But yeah, thank you for that question. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, so that's actually 30 minutes exactly. So I'm going to go ahead and stop it. And I want to thank everybody for putting up with my tardiness. And yeah, I will see you guys with Gregory, hopefully here in another 2 weeks. And I'll see you on Discord. So thank you everybody for coming.
Thanks, Dan.